What's going on, YouTubers? This is Buddy coming at you with a quick update. I wanted to talk about the Red Sea products. I'm running part of the Red Sea Reef Care program, just running part of it. I'm running their Algae Control, which is no pox, which is actually NO3PO4X, no pox for short. Basically, it's a sustainable carbon source, and I'm dosing that. It's basically a safer way than going with vodka. You know what I mean? I have used vodka before, but I'm not a fan of vodka. Not a fan of sugar, vinegar. I'm not a fan of none of that things, guys. I'll be honest with you. Instead of using this product, I would have went with BioBalls. If you're looking to carbon dose, just go with something like BioBalls. I really think vodka should be more left to people that have been in the hobby a long time, or people that are really indulged in their tank, and take the hobby beyond serious. You got to really pay attention to your aquarium when you're dosing vodka. It's so easy to make a mistake and overdose, guys. So I really recommend staying away from vodka, sugar, and vinegar, and either going with, if you want a carbon dose, for newer reefers, maybe even up to intermediate reefers, I'd probably go with biopellets, or if newer reefers or intermediate reefers want to try no pox. No pox is good for reefers at all levels. It's a great thing. So are biopellets. But I'm just saying, man, it requires close attention, a lot of testing. I've already tested, in the last 4 days, I've tested my tank 3 times. Just because I'm seeing such great results really fast, I'm noticing a big difference. I mean, there's huge changes to water chemistry. That's the scary part about it. When you have a lot of SPS pieces like I do, a lot of acros and stuff, it's really scary to have huge water parameters change like that fast. I mean, that can cause serious issues with corals. It really can, especially more finicky corals. Water conditions don't have to be perfect. That's the misconception. A lot of people think, you have SPS pieces, your tank's got to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. What it has to be is stable. You have to provide them as stable as an environment as possible. That's the only challenge to keeping SPS corals. It's just providing a stable environment. That's it. If your tank is mediocre across the board, mediocre lighting, mediocre water conditions, calcium, alkalinity, magnesium's mediocre, in the 400 with the calcium, maybe 7 DKH, maybe magnesium reading of 1200. Dude, you'll be successful with SPS pieces. They're not going to thrive and grow like wildfire, but you will be successful. That's mediocre. You have mediocre lighting, you can give them a range of around 200 par, you'll be successful. They're not going to have real gorgeous, vivid coloration, but they will look good, and you'll be successful. And you keep and maintain that mediocre tank, you can keep 99% of corals out there today. I'm telling you that right now. I've been in the hobby a long time, guys. All it takes is to keep your aquarium as stable as possible. That's it. It's not a hard thing to do. Okay, keep your temperature in line, keep your dosing in check. I recommend daily dosing. Daily dosing is going to keep your parameters in check the most. Okay, I don't recommend doing weekly things. Now, magnesium, if you're on a weekly dosing schedule with magnesium and your aquarium seems to do just fine with that, fine. Go with it, guys. Me personally, I recommend dosing daily. Figure out your tank's consumption, alright? Figure out your tank's consumption of your daily consumption, magnesium, alkalinity, calcium, and just replace that amount every day. Like my tank, for instance, with my calcium, I dose, it's 7 milliliters a day. And I've showed people the liquid calcium reactor by Kent, that product that I use, I swear by it. I dose 7 milliliters of that a day. Magnesium, I dose 6. Keeps my parameters rock solid. Rock solid. I don't change those. Once a month, I do test it, make sure everything's in check. Actually, I went as far as 2 and 3 months before testing the full rundown. I keep a close eye on the tank. I do test carbon hardness. If carbon hardness is falling off, something's wrong. That's a quick, easy test to do and have a general idea where your tank stands. As far as, now I'm not saying obviously with nitrates and phosphates and ammonia and all that stuff, but you can look at the tank. If your fish are alive, you don't have ammonia. If you don't have an algae bloom, you know, if you have algae, obviously you have a phosphate problem, maybe even a nitrate problem. So I mean, you can look at the tank and have a general idea what's going on. So that's basically where I'm at, and I've always done it like that, and I've been in the hobby a long time, and I haven't had any issues. But I do generally test everything once a month. I don't bother doing it any more than that. I really don't waste my time. I pay attention to the tank tells me. Some people may think that sounds crazy, but listen, if you know your system, you know your system, you know your system. You know what I mean? I know when something's not right. If my corals aren't opening, my Duncans are a first sign. If my Duncans aren't opening up, I know something's wrong. You know, I know something's wrong. Now, I have just added the no pox to the tank, and I'm noticing that my pulsating zinnias, about 10-20 minutes after it's dosed through the pump, they close up. About a half hour later, they open back up. So right there, now I'm dosing it, so I know what the problem is. But now I would know something was wrong if I seen these guys not opening. If my Duncans were seeing issues, I would start to look around and pay closer attention to the tank. You know, things like that. I mean, the tank will tell you, your corals will tell you there's something wrong. You just pay attention, know your system. Alright, so enough of that. I wanted to talk about the Red Sea Reef Care Program kit. I'm not doing the full thing, which I recommend. Guys, if you want something that's rock solid, man, it works great, I'd recommend doing it. Alright, so here's the A and B. I've already mixed it up. I got it here. I was going to do it all with you, man, but it's just too much holding the camera and trying to do it all. So I've already mixed it up. We're going to dose this. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's going into the tank. It looks like toxic sewage, man. It's like a green color. Alright, so let's unplug the skimmer real fast. And I'm just going to dose it. You got to unplug the skimmer. Let me turn this on. You got to unplug the skimmer for a half hour afterwards. So the skimmer's unplugged. Skimmer's draining down. Boom. Done. Alright, and as you can see, my macroalgae is already dying off. You cannot carbon dose and grow macroalgae. It will not happen. It will all die, and that's just what it is. Now you can see that you know, I'd grow algae on this wall here, and I would scrape it off. It was like my makeshift algae, you know, like an algae scrubber for me. It's just a waterfall, but it works really well because you'll grow algae on it really well, and you can clean that off, and you're actually removing nitrates and phosphates when you pull that algae off. And I was going to clean it off, but it's dying. So I'm going to go in there and scrape it off just to make sure it's not releasing any nitrates or phosphates in the tank as it dies off. So I'm going to go in there and clean it off anyways. But I did that once a month, man. And I think it's great. That's why I love when I build my own sumps. I always build them like that. It gives me that little wall. And if you wanted to, you can always drill a little hole in the acrylic and then put a screen there and make it look like a little algae scrubber there, you know. And the algae will naturally grow on that screen. You can take it off, have it on there with zip ties or bread ties or something like that. Untwist it, take the screen out, scrape it, put it back, man. It'll work out great for you. On top of your refugium, just another little way that you can have like an algae scrubber system in your aquarium without actually having one, without spending the money. Alright guys, so I have to set the camera down to draw this up, so bear with me. Look at my feet for a minute. Sorry guys. Alright, so we got this all drawn up. There it is. Now it recommends that you blow it into a high flow area of the tank, so we're going to turn the pump down to S3, so that's the lowest setting. And we're going to come over here. I want you guys to be able to see this. Look at that, it's toxic, man. Looks toxic. It's crazy, right? But I'll tell you what, stuff works great. Works wonders. I'm not even kidding. I've noticed big changes in the coloration of my corals and stuff. Big changes. This stuff right here is more for metabolic function, but Reef Energy B will help with coloration. Now they have a whole coloration care program out there, but this will help with coloration. It will. This is a full rundown of amino acids, vitamins, all that stuff, carbohydrates, so it's basically everything the corals need. You need to use them both together though. Don't buy A and not buy B. Run them both together. Just save yourself the headache and just do them together. And that's where you're going to get the most results. A lot of times they sell them that way anyways. They sell it in a pack, a dual pack. I just wanted to try it out, so I just bought 200 ml bottles. It came in a pack together, and I wish I would have bought in a much bigger bottle. But I didn't want to invest too much money into it if it wasn't worth it to me. All right, guys. So this is Buddy coming at you with a quick update on the tank and what I think of the Red Sea's products. They're great, man. They really are. Red Sea has really done their research. They lay it all out for you. I'm telling you, man. You guys won't be sorry that you tried it. All right, this is Buddy signing out. Happy Reef, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.